Hello, guys. Welcome to Code with Trinity. Today, we'll be talking about making our first portfolio website. In this particular topic, we discuss about how to make the header, how to make the navigation, and then for the part two, we'll talk about how to make the section part, which is the About Me section and the project section. Then for the part three, we'll talk about the contact us and the footer part of this video. Please stay tuned for more. Let's get started. As we all know, we'll start with the normal doc type, HTML language, English, because we're coding in English. They'll put the head part where we'll get the title and the link to our style sheet, which is the CSS code. So you can just watch through here and follow up every single thing I'm doing. So we will not miss any single thing
I start my
happening in this
day
video.
in silence. Where are my slippers? Where's my notebook? My dreams, write them down. Write down your dreams. Write down your dreams. Don't forget to write down your dreams. More silence. More silence. And now.
So after linking my style sheet to my HTML code, I realized I already have a style.css file created. So I had to delete it, then click on the new file and write styles.css so that nobody will get confused while I'm writing my code. So now this is styles.css linking to my style sheet, and I also have the file created. So now let's get started. So for the part one, we made mention of making use of the header. Let me start by explaining what header is. The header tag represents the top section of a web page or section typically used for either site title or logo, or navigation menu, or introductory part of your website. Now, for this particular code and web page about to do, we are going to use it as our introductory content. Let's get started. So we're going to start with our division element, which in a short form it's div. A div is an element used to group or organize other HTML elements on a web page. Its purpose is to create a container for content, commonly used for layout and styling with CSS. So for my student, most of you must have seen me after using my div, I add a class to it. Now let me explain what class it means. A class in HTML is an attribute used to group elements together so you can apply the same CSS styles to them or target with JavaScript. But in our case here, we are just dealing with HTML and CSS. Why use class? We use class to style multiple elements the same way to identify elements for scripts like JavaScript, but well, we are just using CSS. And we also use class to organize layout better. So you wouldn't get confused. You will see me making use of a container and header content element when I'm styling. So for now, let's just get focused on why we are here. Normally, we are supposed to start the header section with an introductory text, but I want to start it with a picture. So this is how I want the layout to be. So right now I'm going to start with the normal HTML by giving a structure, a proper structure to how that styling would look like. So let's just get started. Remember, you have to put your create your asset folder, then image you want to link. So now I've not actually linked the image. I'm just trying to write out the stuff. Don't forget this ALT means alternate, which means if the image is not correct, to show the text profile picture as text if the image is not there. So for the student that came to the office that I thought that I explained this part for, I believe you should understand it now what I mean by ALT, alternative. Alternative. It means if your image is not showing, your alternative text will be there to tell user that okay, this is what this website or this is what this image that is not showing is all about. That's like you are describing your image. To avoid any confusion, you can see that in the image link, I added a class profile pic, which means when I'm styling or when I'm about styling the page, I'm going to style the image to be to my taste. Don't also forget that the class means I want to style this particular division. Now I'm styling the image. I'm about styling the image. That's why I added the profile pic there. So when we are styling, in case of when you see me write full stop profile pic, just know that I want to style the image there. So don't get confused. Now let's try to take our time and pause now. After inserting the image, looking at this picture I have now, what do you think we should put next after adding the image? Don't feel like we've already styled the page yet. I'm just taking a screenshot from how the outcome would look like so you guys can guess what we should write next.
I start my day in silence.
Now for professional styling,
Where am I
the
supposed to
div inside the main
Where's my
div that
water?
has the class container header
My
content
dreams
is
are
used to
write down
separate
your
the text
dreams.
content,
Write down your
which
dreams.
is the H1 tag and the
Write down your
paragraph tag, which is
dreams.
P, from the image img. This makes it easier for
More
me to
silence.
style them
More
independently
silence.
using CSS.
And now it's time to go. My journey to where I'm going is steady and still silent. I gather my belongings and my clothes, my garments, my gloves, my socks, my heels, and I put them together in a way that I'm telling a story with my appearance. The silence starts to break. I start to sing to myself, engage how I feel. I put my clothes on, and still more silence, more silence. Where's my water? Drink
Now,
all
for
I
most of my
want.
students who might want to ask me
Be
why I
fluid,
made use of
be
the
one with water,
nav
be one with
and
air.
the unordered list, which is the UL,
Preparing
and
myself
the list
for
item,
the
which is
adventure,
the LI,
for the
let me
purpose
explain to
of
you guys.
music, for the
Nav
sound
is used to
of
define
the
navigation
wind in my
section. It
belly.
tells the browser and screen
I
readers
agree to
that the
step
link
right
inside
in.
are for navigating the website. Now, for the UL, which is
I
on
let my
ordered
focus
list,
carry
is
me,
used to group the navigation link into
carry
a
me to the
list
next
format,
moment.
which is the proper semantic structure for menus. Now, for the list item, which is the LI, it is used to wrap the individual link as an item in the list. The structure improves accessibility for screen readers, SEO for search engines understand your page better. Now for styling, it makes it easier for menus using CSS. Now for the link, I can duplicate them to match my own taste. So just have to copy each list, then change the name this to project. Then I'll change the page is referring to the project name. You can duplicate your own page to match five, six, seven, depending on your taste, but so as to not make my navigation look so buggy and too long. Let's just go with this four I've chosen. So right now I'm going to change the name to project.html, then contact in this, then write contact.html over to privacy, clean it up and privacy.html. So that's it for this. So far, so good. Let's try
I
to
start
see
my day
what we've done so
in
far,
silence.
how it is for just the structure
Where's
of what. Let
where's
me
my
drag in
water?
my browser is, and let me
My dreams,
refresh.
write
Control
down your
R.
dreams. Write down your
Yeah.
dreams.
So as
Don't
you can
forget
see,
to
the
write down
image
your
does not
dreams.
exist, but the text I told you guys about the profile picture
More
is there.
silence, more
Understand? So
silence.
since the text is not there, you
And
see
now
profile picture.
it's time to go. My journey to where I'm going is steady
So from here, we'll
and
try
still
adding
silent.
image. Let me just look through my
I
system if I
gather
can
my
get
belongings and my
some
clothes,
image I
my
can just use
garments,
in
my gloves,
displaying
my
the
socks,
stuff.
my
I think I
heels,
should look for Trinity, one
and
of
I
my
put them together in
picture
a
to my
way
YouTube channel.
that I'm telling a
I
story
think
with my
then I can
appearance.
see it somewhere.
The The silence starts to break. I start to sing to myself, engage how I feel. I put my clothes on, and still more silence, more silence. Where's my water? Drink plenty of water. Be fluid, be one with water, be one with air. Preparing myself for the adventure, for the purpose of music, for the sound to grow within my belly. I am ready to start my day. I let my vocals carry me to the next moment.
So this will be all for the normal HTML structure. From here, we'll start writing the CSS code. Let's get started.
I start my day in silence. Where are my slippers? Where's my notebook? My dreams, write them down. Write down your dreams. Write down your dreams.
This circled area is called the universal selector. It targets all elements on this page.
More silence. More
For the
silence.
margin 0, padding 0 removes the box spacing added by browsers. Then for the box sizing,
Where I'm going.
other box makes sizing easier and more predictable.
Still silent. I gather my belongings and my
Now for
clothes.
the CSS body, I believe we all know what it does because I've taught it in class before. And if you're not following up in our class, please just go back to the group and
Appearance.
take down things we've learned before now because I wouldn't be going into detail explanation
To
while
myself,
teaching the body part.
engage
It's
how I
only
feel.
things that I've not taught in class that I will explain
Put my
in
clothes
my
on.
videos from now henceforth.
In
So
still.
if you are
More
kind of lost,
silence.
just go
More
back to the group and
silence.
go through the
Where's my water?
chat and notes
Drink
I've
plenty of
dropped in
water.
the group so you cannot
Be
get
fluid.
the class
Be
delayed.
one with water. Be one with air. Preparing myself for the adventure, for the purpose of music, for the sound to grow within my belly. I am ready to start my day. I let my vocals carry me.
Now, in some cases, not all selectors start with full stop. As you can see, our body selector does not start with full stop. And let me explain that to you. Selectors that do not start with full stop are body, header, nav, head element 2. For a specific class, we have to start with full stop. Then for tag name, specific HTML tag like header, footer, nav, we don't need to start with full stop. Now for the width, which I set to 90%, this means the container takes up to 90% of the browser's width. For the max width, which is 1200 pixels, it won't grow beyond 1200 pixels, even on wide screens. Now for the margin auto, it centers the container horizontally. For padding, 20 pixels, 0, adds 20 pixels space on top and bottom, none on the side. Now let's move on to the header section. Now let's just put a background color. We all know what that means. The hash 0f172a means dark blue background for header. That's it. Now for the color, which is
I
set to be
start my
white,
day
it makes all text inside of the header white. Every
where my
single
slippers,
text inside of the
there's my
header
notebook,
will turn white except
my
the
dreams.
CSS file
Write
you
down your
exempt it.
dreams. Write down your
Understand?
dreams. Don't forget to write down your dreams. More silence. More silence. And now
The pad in
it's
20
time to
pixels
go.
has 20 pixels space inside the header on all
My
sides.
journey to where I'm going
Let's keep
is
going.
steady and still silent.
Now, since we've styled the header part, we're
I
going to
gather my
style the
belongings in my
header
clothes,
content.
my garments, my
This
gloves,
header content, you're going to
my
write the
socks,
styling for
my
it. So
heels,
let's move over
and I put
to
them
our
together in a
CSS
way
file now.
that I'm telling a story with my appearance. The silence starts to break.
So while we
Before you
start the
say a
styling, don't
word,
forget we have to start with full stop,
gauge how I
since
feel.
it's not a
Pillow
default
captions on.
HTML element. So we have to put a full stop, then header content,
More
then
silence. More
display.
silence.
Why I set it as flex,
My
it
water.
lays out item,
Drink my
image, and
water.
text in a row, side by
My
side.
foot. Be one with
Align
me. Be
centers,
one with
vertically
me.
centers the image and text within the row.
Preparing
Then
myself
gap, which I
for my
set as
future.
20 pixels,
For
add
the
20 pixels
purpose of
space
music.
between the image
For the
and text.
sound to grow within my
If you
belly.
check on your code now, you notice that
I
the
start
text
my
has
day.
moved from where it was, which was under the image, to
I
the
let my vocals
right hand side of
breathe.
the screen. So let's move over to
Let the
header
exhale.
content image. Let's style the image now. So start with full stop. Start with full stop, header content, then img. That's to tell you that you are styling the image. Now put width of the image as 80 pixels. 80 pixels. Yes. Then height, same, set as set image height as 80 pixels. Then border radius 50%. Let's say it should be 50%, so that it will make it perfectly round. Let's say a circle. The image will look like a circle. Then one more thing, object fit. Object fit. Yes. Let's put as cover, so that it ensures the image fills the circle without stretching or distorting. I should have here. So you can see that it's now getting more like how it was when I was showing you guys the outcome at the beginning of the video. So let's get to the next step, the header. So let's see our header h1. Our header h1 font size. Let's say if you 40, no, let's say 42 pixels. Yes, it sets the heading text size. Then let's put margin bottom should be 10 pixels. No, let's say 5 pixels. 5 pixels. Yes, it adds space below the heading before the next element. I hope we get it. So that's for the header. Then let's move on to the navigation part now. Yes, this is the nav. So now I'm going to style this nav. Where we started was the H1, which is the one I just highlighted now, inside of the header container. So now I'm going to leave this header part now. I'm going to leave this header part and H1 part. Now we move into navigation styling. So start now. Yeah. Let's say background color. Let's use this hash one. This color gives the navigation bar a dark background. Yeah. Then the pad in 10 pixels add space top and bottom inside the nav bar, so we not get confused. So you can see what I'm talking about easy. So now let's move into the unlisted. The unlisted nav.
I start my day in silence. Wear my slippers. Where's my notebook? My dreams, write them down. Write down your dreams. Write down your dreams. Don't forget to write down your dreams.
So let's start with the nav unlisted.
More silence.
I'm gonna put
More
the
silence.
display as
And
I'm
now
gonna put the display as
it's
flex,
time to go.
which lays out the item
My
menu
journey to
link
where
in
I'm
a row.
going
Then
is
justify content center centers the menu
super
link
exciting.
horizontally. Then the gap 30
I
pixels
gather
add
all my
space between
dreams
each
and my
menu item. We
goals,
all know that
my
I've said this
garments,
thing times
my
without number.
heels,
Then
my
list
socks,
style
my
none removes the
heels,
default bullet
and I
point
put them
from
together in a
list
way
item. Remember
that
those
tells a
dots
story
on the
through my
list.
appearance.
Yes, if you check the code now, you see that the dots are no longer there and
The
it has
silence
been
starts to
laid
break. I
horizontally.
start to sing to
Yes, so
myself.
this we are gradually going. Now we have to move to the
I put my clothes on.
unlisted list,
In,
which is the
stay.
list part of it now
More
that has attributes.
silence. More
Remember, the
silence.
attributes are the
Where's my water?
reference to the other
Plenty of
pages.
water.
So
Be
now
fluid.
let's
Be
go
one with
to
water. Be one with air.
the listing part.
Preparing myself
I have to
for
start
the
with
adventure.
nav,
For the
then
purpose
unlisted,
of
then
music.
list.
For the sound to grow within my belly.
Sorry
I
about
am
that.
ready to start my day. I let my
Now let's
vocals
say
carry me,
color FFF.
guiding me to the next moment.
FFF is known as white text. You don't need to Google it out. Then text decoration none, which means it removes the underline. Now let's say the font weight should be 600. Yeah, it makes the text a little bit bolder than the normal size it is. Then font size 16 pixels. That to set the link text size. And let's put a little bit of transition, about 0.3 second in ease, which means smooth animation effect when hovering around the text. Let's save Ctrl S, switch now. The hover effect won't be that visible because we've not added any hover code. So now let's switch back to our code. Let's switch back. Sorry about that. Let's switch back and add the hover effect. See, there's no hover effect now. So now let's try to put our nav unlisted. Is already showing there. The A means attribute, which which means the link. So now let's say color. Color should be color. Let's put this random color. I think I should use green, but let's just see how blue, this sea blue color would be. Control S. Sorry, Control S. Go back to the code. So now we can see the hover effect is now active on our code. So please do this, comment and share this video to your friends. Let me change this to red to green. To green, yes, save. And all right, so guys, that'll be all for our video today. Please, if you have any question, I'll be in the comment section waiting to reply every single comment I have. Then subscribe for my next video. I'll be dropping it very soon. The part 2 of this portfolio website will be coming up this week. Stay tuned, subscribe and turn on notification for more videos.